But I want to give a shout out to Q right now, and we're going to play this video that you did, bro. That was such a great metaphor for life, for dating, for sports. You know, Justin played football. I was a basketball, football guy. You were a basketball guy. And you broke down these Power 5 major schools, you know, the clip I'm about to show. Yeah. Nat, if you can pull that up. And it was very interesting about what women are looking for, what men expectations are. So we're going to kind of have a little conversation regarding this. Can we make sure that we have the volume and start this thing over?
Women believe that they deserve the highest quality guy. Modern women are like high school athletes who all believe that they are 5-star recruits who can play for a Power 5 school or get a Power 5 guy. When the reality is the majority of them are more like 2-3-star recruits that qualify for a low, mid, major type guy. But most of them don't even want to settle for that guy despite the fact that that's what they actually qualify for. But then you have some who commit to the low, mid, major guy but still believe that they can do better, so at the first sign of trouble, they transfer hoping to get an offer from the Power 5 guy. Modern women will sit around waiting for the DM or interest from a Power 5 guy hoping they receive a full ride scholarship to a long-term committed relationship, with the hopes of ultimately being a first-round selection pick in the wife's association draft. But the issue is a lot of these women don't even engage in introspective assessment or have the self-awareness to know that they don't qualify for a Power 5 guy, not to mention the level of skill and character development necessary to even qualify for a Power 5 guy. Most of the women who think they qualify for a Power 5 guy don't even have what the Power 5 guy is looking for. All these modern women believe that they deserve the highest quality guy. Modern women are like high school athletes who all believe that they are 5-star recruits.
So thank you. So what an analogy right now. Thank you. Break down how you even kind of came up with that, because if you're not familiar with sports, Power 5 school, what's like the ACC, the SEC, big name colleges,
Big 12, Big 10.
Big 12, Big 10. And these are what you would call, you break it down to looks, character, resources, status, and power. That's your, you know, Big 5, criteria. Power 5. Yep. So break down how you kind of came up with this metaphor, and then go even further as to what women are looking for and what these Power 5 guys are really looking for in a woman.
Okay, the first thing was, it was listening to what women say they want in men. It's what women say they want in men, and it's understanding the type of women that they have to be, that those men are attracted to and actually want to commit to. That's the first thing. So the Power 5 concept is looks are important to women. Character is important to women. Character should be important to men as well. And that's one of the things that often get overlooked, because a lot of guys think if I have money, if I have status, if I have power, then I'm attractive to women. But you actually need character to be able to retain those women. You have to be a man of principle. You have to have some integrity, stand on some things that's important to you, have some discipline. The status is what it is. Women are attracted to status. If you want to attract women, you need some status, because back in the ancestral days, you know, hunter-gatherer societies, the way a woman could get her status was through a man. Mm-hmm. That was how women created their status, and it also signified resources, which is what women are looking for in mates most of the time. A guy who has resources, that signifies that he's able to be a competent caretaker. He can provide for her and her kids. He can provide the optimal environment for that family to sustain, thrive, survive. And then the power, influence, connections, network, net worth, self-worth. So that's how I broke it down, and then I just basically analyzed it as there's a mismatch. There's a disparity between what women want, what they qualify for, and I called it out. I put it in the context so that guys could understand it. I used the sports reference because guys can understand that a lot of women do have confidence. It's just like the high school athlete. Yeah, I could play for this school. I could beat this dude. I could play here. I could play on this level. Then in reality, you haven't put in the work. You haven't put in the work. You haven't put in the preparation. You haven't put in the practice. Your skill level is not there yet. You need character development. So a lot of the times what I talk about with the character development is the femininity aspect, the being able to compromise aspect, the not being spiteful or impulsive. A lot of the things that we see especially with me and my clientele, the way women react, the way they handle conflict with completely competent, high-level, high-value men. And I don't like to use the term high value. I call them quality men. So quality men, they get these women. I had a client, he's a doctor. He makes about $150,000 a year. He took care of this woman. He put $50,000 in this woman's saving account. She repays him with infidelity, not being, not compromising, not being subservient, not helping around the house. She became entitled, and she came from nothing. I'm like, how do you do this to a man who's literally invested in you this much money, and you think that he's the one who's fucking up? He took you off the street, took you in, provided a lifestyle that you never had, that you never experienced. So a lot of the women that I talk to, a lot of the women that come to me, they want advice, guidance, insight. They want to know, how do I get a guy like this? And I say, first of all, you have to make sure you're a woman like that. Because when a man builds himself up to that level, he has the pick of the litter. The ball is in his court. He has women who are willing to do whatever they want, whatever he wants them to do. And if you want that commitment from that guy, then you absolutely have to exemplify certain characteristics and quality traits that that guy is attracted to in order for him to get down on one knee and think you are worth the ring, the lifetime commitment, the marriage, and worth jumping in front of a bullet for.
Yeah, wow. Amazing how you kind of broke it down. You talked about what a woman want versus what they qualify for. So we all know those dudes that was like, dude, I could have played D1, bro, but you got to understand, man, the coach wouldn't put me in. It's like, you were really that good, the coach would have put you in. Or it's like, man, before this ankle injury, I could have. There's always excuses. So what do women want and what do they qualify for? And then I want to get the women's perspective based on your response.
They want the top guy, but most women are average, just like most men are average. And we sell this dream, we sell this fantasy. I call it the Disney effect. The concept of soulmates, the one, unconditional love, all of these things that women feed into, and then they want that from the type of guy that they want it from, which is typically the top 10% of men. But every woman can't have a top 10% of men, and every man is not a top 10% guy. Every man is not going to be a top 10% guy. Most are going to fall on that average, within that average distribution on the distribution curve. And as a woman, if you understand, like, I'm not super unique, and it's called in-group heterogeneity. It's a bias. It's where you think you're unique amongst the group that you identify with, and that's what I tell women. Yes, you're unique in your own ways if we break down your individual characteristics and your personality, but overall as a whole, most of us are average. You can't think you deserve a certain type of man and you're not that type of woman, and chances are you're not the type of woman that you think you are in your head. And that's one of the things that I constantly relay to women when I deal with them in reality coaching, women who email me, just hundreds of women, thousands of women who have wanted my advice and my guidance, and I ask them about themselves. Well, what do you bring to the table? What do you offer? What are you about? How were you raised? What type of emotional baggage do you have? Will you be an asset or a liability to a man who's worked his way up to this level?